Well, our view is if the dollar continues lower and rates go lower, financial conditions are easing, and that gives a 9-month lead. So it might push it out further than we expect. We don't know yet, but definitely doesn't feel like the end of the cycle is going to be this year by any stretch.
리얼비전의 대표 라울팔과 수석 애널리스트 제이미 쿠츠가 현 사이클을 면밀히 분석합니다. 암호화폐 시장은 지금 어디쯤에 놓여 있고 어디로 향하게 될 것인지 함께 확인해 보시죠.
So I guess we start at top level of like, where the hell are we?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk about like market psychology. I think every cycle is different but the same, and it just feels like the scar tissue from the last cycle, which we all felt, is manifesting in a lot of the commentary that's coming through at the moment.
Right? Yeah, agree.
Now, it's a 4-year cycle. This is when it has to end. Therefore, it will. Last cycle, it was like to the moon forever because no one is keeping an eye on, or no one really, there were people such as yourself who were really getting a good handle on it. And it was really in early.
No, even I failed in the last cycle because I thought there was another leg to go. So,
yeah. So then everyone's sort of, I guess, truncated this cycle, and for good reason. It's not without, that there are frameworks out there that are credible, that should say that, this is, a time when things start to get, peakish. But we haven't had the typical business cycle, and not many people do that business cycle analysis that you and Julian do. So that framework that underpins everything at Real Vision and GMI is sorely missed elsewhere. But it just feels that, it's a mechanical response to like the market that this is now when we should be peaking. And it's been, interesting to see the commentary flying on Twitter and everyone else. And even within our membership here about, is the top in. So I'm always fascinated by market psychology and how it manifests in the market. I also think what's quite interesting is that everyone is very attuned to the liquidity cycle aspect now and how that is going to change the outcomes in the future as much as we think that, we've still got more to go. And all those things are sort of, they're the unknowns, but the framework that, we have here is very, I think, very clear that we have got more to go. I've got we've talked about like my Bitcoin cycle risk framework and the topping indicators that I've been building. I mean, they're not screaming at me euphoria. There is definitely, and I highlighted this in that last report, Raul, trend exhaustion signals in the Bitcoin chart and fundamental deterioration as well. But I think that's a function more of the transition into higher beta crypto through ETH primarily.
So the falling of Bitcoin dominance, which is typical of this point in the cycle anyway, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that transition really started, second quarter, but it was very clear by sort of July when I was on paternity leave that transition had occurred because I looked at the on-chain data on Bitcoin, the ETF flows between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and obviously the price action. And it very much lines up with, that transition period in the crypto market from Bitcoin dominance to high quality alts, not, a dash for trash sort of market that we saw in 2021 when people were getting stimulus checks, but a high quality alt season run at the moment. So that's kind of where I'm at.
And when we talk about the high quality alt season, I want to see where your head's at. My head's at is quality layer ones, revenue generating projects, and a few big things that capture attention, whatever they may be, that don't come with revenues or anything else, but they capture attention. We're seeing, Hyperliquid's obviously one of them, maybe Athena's another. We're seeing obviously Sui, Solana. How are you thinking this next phase is, and what are the types of tokens that participate?
Yeah, I like the way that you've just distilled that down into a very clear sort of representation of what really matters. Cash flows, are there protocols that are fundamentally strong, meaning that they have cash flows, they have usage, they deliver utility, and have very strong tokenomics. And there are a handful of those, and they are being rewarded by the market as they should. I've always had this view that as the asset class grows and as the for lack of a better term, sophistication of the marginal new investor comes in, that they're going to look at fundamentals more and more. It's always been my base case. And I think that's playing out. I mean, you mentioned Hyperliquid generating a huge amount, generating the sort of cash flow or revenues that would make a, NASDAQ 100 company sort of water, like in terms of just the growth. In terms of like the multiples, I know we're not talking like for like, but in the case of Hyperliquid, it's trading on a revenue multiple that would put it, in the median of a tech stock in the S&P. But it is those high quality tokens, L1s, and the DeFi protocols, and the things that will grab attention because that is not going away. Memes are definitely not going away. In fact, I'm starting to entertain maybe my first meme position, which we can talk about later. Because
by the way, the Doge ETF launches tomorrow. So by the time this is out, it'll have launched, which is interesting.
I was going to put it in my, that was one. I was going to put it in my note.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah. I think it's a much more discerning market, and you're not seeing the broad-based rally. I mean, we're still, I think, early stages of this sort of broadening out or alt season, for lack of a better term. But it is going to be a very discerning type rally until we get to the end, when there will be short-term pumps and small caps, real small caps with, no product market fit that will start running. And that is on my, that's on my checklist for a market peak. We're not there yet.
두 전문가는 현재 암호화폐 시장을 바라보며 단순히 4년 주기니까 꼭대기다라는 기계적 해석을 경계해야 한다고 강조합니다. 아직 전형적인 경기 사이클의 정점은 나타나지 않았고 비트코인 사이클 지표 역시 광풍 단계에 도달하지 않았다는 점을 지적합니다. 물론 차트에서는 추세 피로와 펀더멘털 약화가 감지되지만 이는 시장이 고점에 다다랐다는 증거라기보다는 오히려 비트코인에서 이더리움 그리고 고퀄리티 알트코인으로 자금이 이동하는 전환 과정으로 해석할 수 있다는 설명입니다. 즉 이번 사이클의 흐름은 아직 마무리 단계가 아니라는 것이죠. 또한 이들은 이번 알트 시즌의 성격이 과거와는 확연히 다르다고 진단합니다. 2021년처럼 무분별하게 모든 코인이 오르던 장세가 아니라 펀더멘털과 토크노믹스를 갖춘 소수의 강자들이 주도하는 시장이라는 것입니다. 하이퍼리퀴드, 솔라나 같은 프로젝트들이 대표적 사례로 언급되며 이는 시장 참여자들의 성숙도가 높아지고 있다는 신호이기도 합니다. 결국 사이클 후반부가 되면 실체 없는 소형 알트들까지 단기 급등하며 정점을 알리게 되겠지만 지금은 여전히 확산의 초기 단계라는 진단입니다. 따라서 두 전문가는 현 시점을 단순히 꼭대기로 단정짓기보다는 여전히 상승 여지가 남아있는 국면으로 평가하고 있습니다. 그리고 혹시 거래 수수료 절반을 다시 환급받는 방법 아직 모르시나요? 단 5분만 투자하면 평생 수수료 돌려받는 셀퍼럴 선택이 아닌 필수입니다. 자세한 내용은 영상 더보기란을 확인해보세요.
Give us your top down where we are on the liquidity cycle from your perspective.
So I think April for me was the demarcation of an important inflection in liquidity, because I have my own global liquidity index, as do you, and they're all sort of like proxies for kind of what we think global liquidity is, and they differ a little bit. But once you regress these things, they have a very strong correlation. And if you do sort of like predictive measures like Granger, causality, and whatever, yes, it does have very significant predictive value. So I do use it a lot, but I also, appreciate that it's not a perfect one-for-one for global liquidity.
No, and people get confused over that. It's a roadmap. It's the contextualization of where we are in the cycle and what to kind of expect, as opposed to, oh, well, it went up today, so in a month's time it'll go up. It's like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to wiggle. It's going to, it's going to surprise a little bit. But like from my first principles basis, global liquidity goes up. That increases the marginal demand for risk assets, and the preference for risk asset investors is the assets that give the most protection to monetary debasement, which is why they've got marginal new dollars coming into the financial system to buy assets in the first place. So, but that sort of what I call like a super bullish regime, which is just like using technical analysis on global liquidity, looking at the breakout that happened in April, gives us runway for another, typically though these periods of like the breakouts last for about 2 years based on previous cycles. But this is the ascent of global liquidity this cycle is far more moderate for reasons we can get into. But like, I think that, and also let me just also add that global liquidity increasing is not, or the absolute level of global liquidity is not the most important metric. It's the rate of change, and
Always.
risk assets will sniff that slowing down. So I think there's another sort of 6 months left in the cycle. And I know that's pretty much lining up with where you are as well. Maybe it's a little bit more, maybe it's a little bit less.
Well, our view is if the dollar continues lower and rates go lower, financial conditions are easing, and that gives a 9-month lead. So it might push it out further than we expect. We don't know yet, but definitely doesn't feel like the end of the cycle is going to be this year by any stretch.
두 전문가는 글로벌 유동성이 시장에 미치는 영향을 특히 강조합니다. 라울팔은 글로벌 유동성이 확대되면 위험 자산에 대한 한계 수요가 늘어나고 투자자들은 화폐 가치 하락을 방어할 수 있는 자산을 선호한다고 설명합니다. 다시 말해 새로 공급되는 달러는 주식, 채권, 암호화폐와 같은 위험 자산 매수로 이어지며 이것이 바로 슈퍼 강세 국면을 만드는 핵심 동력이라는 것이죠. 실제로 유동성 지표에서 돌파 신호가 나타나고 있고 이는 시장이 앞으로 더 상승할 수 있는 활주로를 열었다는 분석입니다. 과거 사이클에서는 이런 국면이 평균 2년가량 지속됐지만 이번에는 상승 속도가 다소 완만하다는 차이가 있습니다. 또 하나 주목할 점은 절대 수준보다 변화율입니다. 라울팔은 유동성의 절대 규모 자체보다 증가 속도의 방향성이 훨씬 더 중요한 신호라고 강조합니다. 아직 변화율이 둔화되지 않았다는 점에서 최소 6개월 정도의 상승 사이클이 남아있다고 평가합니다. 더 나아가 달러 약세와 금리 인하가 겹칠 경우 금융 여건이 완화되며 사이클은 9개월 이상 더 이어질 수 있다는 전망도 나옵니다. 결국 두 전문가는 올해가 유동성 사이클의 끝일 가능성은 낮고 여전히 확장 국면이 유효하다는 진단을 내놓습니다. 현재 변동성 장세가 이어지며 불안감을 느끼는 분들이 많으실 텐데요. 현 사이클에 대한 두 전문가의 관점을 참고해 보다 큰 흐름 속에서 시장을 바라보시면 도움이 될 것 같습니다. 오늘 영상 도움이 되셨다면 구독, 좋아요 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.